You want to add more aesthetic to the outdoor playground and decide to use a corner of the fenced-in playground to plant a flower bed. One side will be twice the length of the other side. The third side will be 35 feet more than the length of the shortest side. What is the length of the sides if the perimeter of the area is 107 feet? Let's draw a triangle to represent the corner of the playground that's going to be used as the flower bed. In the problem, they describe how the three sides are related. For instance, they say one side will be twice the length of the other side. The word twice helps us know how to represent that side. Twice is a good translating word, helps us know that the length of the other side is going to be multiplied by 2. In other words, twice the length of the other side could be represented by 2 times the other side. Since we don't know what the other side is, let's use a variable. Let's call that x. That means this side will be twice the length of the other side, or in other words, 2 times x. The third side, it says, will be 35 feet more than that shortest side. 35 feet more. More is another word that helps us translate and know how to represent this other side. If it's going to be 35 feet more than the shortest side, that means that we'll start with the length of the shortest side and add on 35 feet. The word more represents addition. That shortest side that we keep referring to is the x that we wrote down here when we added on 35, and the x that we wrote down here when we wrote down the 2x. So the length of the shortest side is just x. Perimeter means the distance around the outside of the figure. In order to represent the distance around the outside, we would add the 3 sides together. So the first side plus the second side plus the third side, in this case, would look like x, since that's our first side, plus 2x, since that's our second side, plus x plus 35. When we add those sides all together, we should get the perimeter, which it says is 107. Now that we have an equation, we're able to solve for x, and that will help us figure out how long each of those 3 sides must be. The first step here in order to solve the equation is to make it look a little bit more simple by combining the like terms. All of these terms that have x's in them are like terms. So if I add up or count up how many x's I have all together, there's 1 here, plus 2 more there makes 3, plus 1 more here makes 4x. And all of those x's still have 35 added onto them. And we know that all of that should still equal 107. To solve for x, what we want to do is get rid of all of these numbers over here on the left side with the x. When we're finished, we'd like to have x all by itself, and then after moving all those extra numbers over to the right hand side, we'll know what number x is equal to. The way to move those numbers to the right hand side is to do the opposite of what's here. Since we right now have 35 added on to the 4x, if I were to subtract it, I'd be able to cancel it out. And that's okay to do as long as we do the same thing to both sides of our equation. In other words, once on the left side of the equal sign and once on the right side of the equal sign. Subtracting 35 from 107 will let us know what number to put down on that next line. Looks like that equals 72. So let's put 72 here for that result. Let's drop down that equal sign, and let's drop down that 4x, since we haven't done anything with it yet. Now in order to get the x all by itself, we need to get rid of the 4. The way to do that would be do the opposite of what's here. Since it's currently multiplied by 4, the opposite would be divide. That would allow us to cancel the x's and leave the cancel the 4's and leave the x by itself. It's okay to do that as long as we do the same thing on both sides. So if I divide 72 by 4, I'll know what goes on this next line. Looks like 72 divided by 4 is 18. So now we know the value of x here has to be 18. They're asking for the length of the sides. Now that we know x is 18, that means this side must have been 18 feet long. And if we take that 18 again and multiply by 2, since this side is twice as long as that one, 2 times 18 helps us know that this one is 36 feet. And again, putting the 18 in place of the x on this side, adding together the 18 and the 35 helps us know that that one is 53 feet. To make sure I feel good about the answers, I'm going to take that 53 and that 36 and that 18 and add them all together to make sure I really do get a total of 107. In other words, let's make sure that those three sides really do add up to 107 feet. So 53 plus 36 plus 18 does equal 107. That helps us know we have the right answers. 18 feet, 36 feet, and 53 feet.